Record button. Great mistake on my part as usual, but yeah. Hello again, you here, and continuing to paint the Necromunda Goliath. I have been watching some pretty nice streams lately on painting miniatures. Hey there, Clock Bomber. How's it going? And I am pretty excited based on what I saw, because I got a few neat ideas. Oh yeah, this late? Damn. Well, okay, so I won't be asking too many questions in that case. Yeah, so am I. These are the times. Lower down the camera a little bit. Shaky cam incoming, sorry about that. Right, so few things, few ideas have come up following these streams, and I am pretty excited to try and put them to work. I received validation on a few ideas that I had myself, saw a few things about battle damage, saw a few things about highlighting and generally coloring flesh. So we'll try and see if we can do something with our dude here. We can apply any of the thingies. Mostly what I would like to try and do is get some different colors for the shading on the flesh. I don't know if that'll work out or how much it will. Also, I had no idea this is what the saturated flesh color would turn out like. So I have no idea where to take it from here. So have to figure it out a little bit later. Meanwhile, off camera while watching the streams, I've been doing a little bit of work on the last remaining Norse dudes and dudettes. As I'll try to fill out the ranks with what is left. And I have a peculiar feeling that exposure on the camera might have fucked up a bit again. It's fine, okay. So progress is happening. Anything on your end? Anything that you would like to share or mention in terms of hobby, gaming, or whatever? Yeah, I get that. Do you manage to work well while working from home? Because for me it's always super weird. Like, not like I can't, but I don't know, it feels different. It's different to gauge as opposed to being in the office. Okay. Yeah, I have no mouth. The only reason I've been doing this, well, there are two reasons why I've been doing this off stream. First of all, I noticed that there are already 24 episodes of me essentially doing the same thing over and over about these guys. And there's nothing new. Aside from that, it was just when you watch a nice long, like 5-hour stream about painting, and you kinda get itchy and wanna put some paint on plastic. So this is how this happened. But I will be painting the Yeti on stream once I get to him. Aside from that, there are pretty much just her and 2 other miniatures. This one, of course, being pretty much the most obsolete and useless of all of them. This is the second thrower. Something that will probably never see the light of a table, but we'll see. I will try out some things on her as well. Should be pretty subtle, but it might be a bit of an improvement. Also, I did make a decision on what paint line to switch to when I'm done with the Citadel stuff. Well, when I'm just fed up with them. I've been trying to postpone this for as long as humanly possible, but I think the decision has been made, and it's going to hurt financially, but I'm going to do it. I really like how these colors look. For anyone wondering, it is the Pro Acryl line from Creature Caster Monument Paints. I think I'm going to just bite the bullet and get the whole... yeah, well... yeah. It's to get me in the mood, believe it or not. Using cigarettes for me is a way to count down time. It's just how it evolved over the years. I've made some subtle changes to my armrest, making it a bit softer. Probably not much better overall, but maybe I'll be able to paint for a bit longer before getting fatigued. We'll see. But yeah, Pro Acryl will be what I will want to start working with. I won't jump on them just yet. I'll try and finish up all of the miniatures that I have currently ongoing, as in already have painted models with Citadel, so that there aren't too many differences between them. So the Norse team, a couple leftovers from the Dark Elves, things like that. I'll try and cover them up with Citadel, at which point I will probably maybe end up selling what I've got left from the Citadel range, because I've got quite a few of those. So if you know anyone who would like them, I will be posting some pictures on the range that I have available for anyone wondering. But in the meantime, if anyone knows anyone or they themselves would like any colors from the Citadel range that I currently have, let me know. From what I see, the main benefits to the Switch will be, firstly, dropper bottles, and secondly, they are not a range. There should be some local trade groups or sell groups. I will be posting some pictures. Yeah, exactly. When I get closer to actually ordering them, I'll post the Citadels. But it'll have to wait for after I'm done with the Goliath, so it's going to take a while. Still though, I think I've made up my mind on this. Because I was leaning towards scale 75, but at the end of the day, Pro Acryl will probably be the best solution. So their paints are not divided into base layers and base coats and layers, so I expect fairly consistent pigments all across, and part of their paints are see-through, translucent, so it'll make for great tinting of other colors. Their metallics look good, and they're also pretty big, like almost twice the size of Citadel pots, which means they'll last me for a long time. So that is pretty much that. Now the last bit of non-metallic that I would be painting on this guy is the Mohawk. For that I've prepared Wild Rider Red and Flash Gets Yellow that I'll mix in later for a highlight. I haven't been able to decide on what to shade it with. It shouldn't, because the larger amount of content should keep it moist for a longer period. Also, they close better than the paint pots from Citadel, so it shouldn't leave so much air to go in when they get caked up with paint. Either way, I'll try them out for sure. I have quite a bit actually more time to think about it, but I'm leaning in that general direction. So let's get to painting. Okay. So I did give him a good shake before the stream, but let's do so again. Oh yeah? With the new Space Wolf campaign? Yeah, it's even in its basic form, it was very good in terms of translating the board game. Like, pretty much all the rules, and it played out exactly like the board game did, which is good, but it is also a little bit boring and repetitive when you don't have to actually physically make your dice, physically throw your dice. It ends up being a bit quick to get old, but aside from that, it was a carbon copy. It was well done, it was just a bit dull. What mods did you use? Oh wow, there have been... Wow, that means I haven't checked it in a while. Oh, really? Is it percentage based? Oh yeah, I think they did make a change to go for a more, I don't know, RPG-like thing with percentages, or close to XCOM, I think. Yeah. Right. Yeah, they did a lot of work post-release to that game. It is actually one of the, maybe one of two games that I have ever pre-ordered. So I did get the chance to play it on release. Yeah. I heard about that and I did give it a try recently. Might do some streams on it if you're interested. Yeah, when it initially came out, it was a very nice, almost carbon copy of the board game, and it worked exactly with the same rules. But the reception was sort of meh. Which I can understand. Again, it made it a bit dull in the long run. So all of these changes do make a difference. Okay. I think that we are fairly different in terms of playstyles in general, so I doubt that would be too much of an issue. Yeah, we'll see. Aside from that, I've been checking into the old poll, if you remember it, the one I released quite a while ago, about what to paint and what to play and so on. I've been wondering what to do next, and so I've been talking with Claw Palmer. He reminded me that I actually have yeah, again, they did make a lot of changes. I did check it out again when they applied they implemented the Space Wolf campaign, and that was with part of these changes. But I didn't give it too much effort back then. I just wanted to see how it looked and what it did. And it actually, the fact that about the Bretonians, so it might be high time to get to work on the Bretonians for Blood Bowl. And they were the runner-ups for the painting poll, so that coincides nicely. And about a game after Fallout, I was having feelings for Resident Evil or something like that. And again, checking the polls from back then, I didn't use the shields. Yeah, the Grebo Bretonians, but I haven't. I decided to build them without the shields, I think. So they're probably gonna go on the chopping block after the after the Goliaths. And the next game, runner-up, like I said, I was feeling Resident Evil-y. And I noticed that actually the runner-up for a game is Dead Space. So that's probably gonna happen unless something extremely different happens in the meanwhile. What are your thoughts? Would you like to see me play a horror game? Third-person survival horror. It's a pretty good one. Again, this isn't something that's gonna happen in near months, but just putting it out there. Yeah, it's very shooty, but it has atmosphere. Yeah, if you want Resident Evil, I can do Resident Evil. I can do the first one, the remake. So Resident Evil 1 remake. Although it would be a very pitiful playthrough, because Japanese games in general and Capcom games in particular have this thing where your first playthrough is always a little bit of a nightmare. You don't know what to expect. You don't have the information to actually play the game right, so to speak. For instance, in Resident Evil 1, you play a lot of, it's pretty much a puzzle game, but you don't know what the puzzle is most of the time. Yeah. So the only concern I have about that is that I may need to replay many sections of the game because it's one of these games where you can just get stuck and that's it. Like, no further progression would be possible. That's pretty much the only thing I am afraid of, but I play it on normal and save more regularly. Should be fine. Also, there is a new Resident Evil game that's gonna come out in a few months, in maybe this month or the next one. It'll be the remake for Resident Evil 3. So it might be also a good entry point. A good teaser for the new thing, for the new shiny. Giving this thing a few good coats, because again, first it is a layer paint, and secondly it is a very, very bright layer paint, so if I want any coverage I need to do it a few times. Okay, so I think that settles that then. When we're done with Fallout, we move on to survival horror. Cool. Okay, I think that's sort of good enough. I don't know if you can see the color. And into this whole thing, I'm going to add flash gets yellow. Have no mouth. Do you remember when I asked you about the mohawk color? Did you say pink or orange? Can't remember. No, not the flesh, just the hair. Oh, okay, so sequence. Okay. Let's see what happens if we put a little bit in here. What is going to come out? Pretty good orange. Pretty good orange, yeah. Did I paint something here? Let's see. Not really sure. Not really big on Necromunda lore. If I were to take a wild guess, considering this is kinda all around, so pretty much every single Goliath has a mohawk. Gonna go ahead and assume it's pretty important for them. And if that would be the case, then I'm gonna go ahead and say as long as it takes. Avish, look at that. The second question is, maybe they do each other's hair. Like the true brawls that they are. Spot me on the bench press and do my hair. Sounds legit. Not sure if you can see this, but I am loving what this is doing to the hair. It's a pretty good gradient. You don't see anything. Ah, there it is. Yeah. Let's try to replicate the same thing on this side. For some reason I think the camera is acting a bit weird today. Let's go, we're going a bit overboard with the exposure. I'm not super keen on. I think you can barely see what I'm doing. And I don't like that. Oh yeah, Banner Saga is also quite an alluring option. Also one I haven't played before, so it might be interesting to see how I struggle with it. Just glaze a little bit more of the orange right at the top. Yeah, I dig this. I like this. Oh, okay. Right. Of course, by the time the time comes to actually change the game, it will be quite a while. But it doesn't hurt to throw ideas around. Ah, cool. So like XCOM. I don't know why I compare everything to XCOM. I haven't played it in years. Let me see if the camera will tolerate just an idea more. Before start, no, it started to flicker. Okay, so back up we go. Yeah, so I suppose it's kind of like the Iron Man difficulty, so you're just playing the one save, so it's a save and exit kind of thing. Yeah. It is something, I saw a few videos of it, here and there, just small snippets of gameplay, and it looks very good. Turn-based combat, and in between you get very good storytelling and decision making. It looks like a fun thing. And the artwork, of course, being gorgeous, is nothing to scoff about. Oh, okay, I see. That is weird. I don't think I've seen. So, how do we highlight? Well, how do we shade this here? Option 1 would be Cassandra yellow, which seems to be the way to go. No, I get what you mean. It randomly allows you to load the game. Well, not randomly, it's predetermined, but it's at specific points that you shouldn't be aware of in advance. And it cuts you off. Where's the other weird shade? Crimson. Seraphim Sepia. No. No. We're going with Cassandra Yellow. I have no idea what this will do. I have no memory of ever using this. I really want to maintain this crazy neon feel, and if you notice, so straight away, even from a distance, so if I were to put him in some, the way how differently it pops because I use saturated colors as opposed to the rest of the miniature, so this will be the by default focal point, which I think is good. Maybe? Question mark? I don't know. It's a thing that does something, so that's that. Right, so let's see, how are we gonna shade this? Worse things worse, I'm just going to... Yeah, one thing off the checklist, I guess. Let's see how this will work. Pretty good. So I'm gonna try and push the shade towards the scalp. It's not going to give much of a delineation for detail, which is something that I usually do. But it might further blend the Wild Rider with whatever thing it was that we mixed it with. I'm going pretty heavy because it's a fairly light wash as far as washes go. Very light. If it darkens the whole thing down too much, I will come back with the mix of, well, the orange that we mixed up. And re-highlight the tips and edges and things. Let's see how this works as it settles. Maybe push a little more into a question mark on the tomahawk. Oh god. On the mohawk. Maybe not on this one because of the because the strands of hair are very pronounced. But there is one where the mohawk is actually plate metal, and I could do that on him. That does sound good. Or drill a hole for anyone who has played Street Fighter Alpha. I think either of the iterations, they have a character named Birdie, which is pretty much this guy, with a bigger mohawk, and there's a hole that is run straight through, so it's an impossible hole actually, because there's no way it could exist. But it goes straight through the mohawk. So that's an option. Let me see actually, is there any of the model? That would welcome a question mark. So this is like that. So yeah, this guy. See, this is actually light metal, so I think I should be able to get it in. Good idea. Try on a little bit of freehanding. Apparently, the Goliath will be my play field. For trying out new things with varying degrees of success. And so, sadly, since this is a wash, all we can do is sit back and watch paint dry for a little while until it completely dries. But yeah, I like it. I like it. See, I should have used these colors for the industry elves. I make them green. Huh. Now you're just giving me ideas here. But no, if anyone's gonna be green, it's not gonna be him. Although a greenish hue to his flesh might work well. But I don't think I'll try green with him. More along the lines of purple in the recesses. But I have no idea how to bring it up. What to bring it up with. Because I can continue this brownish theme that accrued, and it'll be very easy to build it up towards African tone skin. Because it effectively is that. But because of how desaturated it is, I can build it up with some grays and greens. Okay, green won't be it because of the green in the pants. So maybe a little bit of gray to contrast. So it'll be something like Grey Hulk. If you've seen it on the old animated series, the more intelligent version of the Hulk. Maybe something like that. I have a little more time to think about it, just letting this dry a little bit more. Have a smoke in the meantime, and then I'm gonna do the base coat for the metallics. Yeah, it's not about that much about being a fan or anything. It was, I think they played on Cartoon Network back in the day, and it was pretty much, so you couldn't choose what to watch. So as long as you were watching the station, you would see it. That's why I just assume people would be a little bit more aware of it. Either way, oh, okay. That's some interesting trivia. I didn't know that. But yeah, in the animated series, sometimes he awakens as a Grey Hulk, who is a bit weaker but significantly more intelligent. He has a different character and so on. And there was a very cute episode with She-Hulk where they were playing Chicago gangsters, and they wore these old-timey 1920s striped suits. It was pretty fun. But yeah, I didn't know that it should have been gray for the get-go. Oh yeah, how does that sound to you? Build him up to a gray tone and enforce the shadows with some glazed in purples. Might be fun. Completely illogical and nonsensical, but I will take the artistic license to do so. I'm playing this card. Not sure. Do you have an idea? Just build him up to yeah. Because it won't cover completely, so don't think it'll be something like concrete cement colors. I will just glaze the grayish tint over the flesh so that the warmth of the base color will remain. So he won't be like a rock man or anything. And the purple will liven him up. So he won't be like Gargoyle from again from a Marvel universe, sorry. So the shade has completely dried, and it did pretty much nothing for us. I think I'll leave him like this for now. Yeah. Well, like I said, the only matching things between the Goliaths will be the armor plates being red. Beyond that, everyone will be completely different in terms of color scheme. I'll just keep the red plates to keep them uniform as a suggesting a unit so that they would look part of the same gang. Apart from that, everyone will have different flesh tints and mohawk colors, boots, pants, the whole deal. Guns, weapons will be completely different. I just want to keep things fresh and be able to play around and experiment with some things with this project here. Okie dokie. Right on. Just don't roll a one. No guarantees there though. I do have unlimited rerolls. In the form of just repainting the damn thing. I would like to avoid it if at all possible. Right, so I'm just going to bring back the absolute top highlights. With the hair. Put in even more yellow. Let's see. By the way, if you're noticing, not that I'm showing off or anything, but I am not dry brushing this part, which I usually do. Again, in the interest of trying out new stuff. I really like this transition. I really do. sadly it's a bit bright for the camera. Hey there, Imperative. Yeah, welcome too, once again. So for the washes part, yeah, I know, right? I was actually thinking of streaming a bit more, and I still do intend to take advantage of the situation, and I am doing this anyway, so why not? How you doing, by the way? How is the situation over at your part of the world? Meanwhile, about the washes. The idea behind using black to darken everything was to simulate a darker base color so that I wouldn't need to wash per se in order to build up the shadows, and instead just build up from straight from the deepest color, the darkest color up. Just assume that the base color would be the darkest. So not going mid-tones and then go down and then go back up, but instead go from the bottom up. However, with the new idea of glazing in some extra shadows with a different color completely, this overall theme may go out the door. Oh yeah, that's a good way of looking at things. I'm pretty much on the same boat as you are. Although I don't have any, or at least not much, extra time. Which goes to show just how asocial I've become in general, but it is what it is. I am comfortable with this. I went a bit overboard here, so I'm gonna try and mask it up if it's still wet, but it isn't. Yeah, I think I'll leave it as this. Oh, the tournament, yeah, back in October. Well, overall, a very good experience. I had fun. There were some organizational issues here and there that did impact the whole thing. The others here can also, in terms of success, yeah, relatively fine. Not great, not terrible, you know how it goes. Yeah. 3.6, yeah. I'm just readying up my brush for the metallics. don't think so. It's mostly gonna be white metallics, so silver's in this deck. Yeah, I think that's the general consensus. Like, again, there were some things from the organizational part that didn't work out too good. In terms of the gameplay, it was fun. I am also pretty happy with how I did, and that I didn't lose too many games, which for me is quite an achievement. What the hell is it with this tip? Who would you have gotten it? Okay, yeah, I got again, took me a little while to process this, but don't be mad. Good one. Oh, metallics. I will start with the usual, the metallics part of things. Good old lead voucher. Also, I haven't whined about GW metallics in a while, so I'm going to correct this. Also, these things have not been shaken in 6 months, and I have no idea what will come out of them. But I do hear slushing, so there's chance. There's an actual chance that they will reactivate. So I think I've said this before, but regarding metallic paints in general, that because they use actual flakes that are wider. Do you think it would? No, it actually does have metallic flakes here. If I microwave it, I don't know how this will react. Yeah, for standard acrylics, that might work. Boil them in the microwave. Oh yeah, okay, good. Again, bit slow to catch up on the jokes today. So the point I was trying to make is that it tends to separate more than usual than regular paints. I've seen people glue their paint pots to drills and turn on the drill. So glue the pot to the drill bit and just turn on the drill. And from the quick cycles, it would mix better. But that's a bit overboard, I think. For agitating paints? Really? Yeah, centrifuge. Really? Nice. Basically, the best thing would be just an agitator. Nah, it's fine, but I am curious, so please, when you have the chance, let me see that contraption. Just whatever you do, if you get agitators, make sure that they are not lead agitators, and instead stainless steel. I suppose that would work too, but the lid might open. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you use agitators, make sure they're stainless steel and not lead, because I did ruin like 6 or 7 paint pots that way, and I'm pretty upset about it, but that was a long time ago, so we learn from our mistakes here. We try to, and when we repeat them, we pretend that they never happened in the first place. Okay. Right, so let's take another look at the model. I don't want all of the metallics to be white metallics. I do want to put in some yellow metallics. Question is, where? So these tubes might actually need to be black. See if the breakup, because this will be a huge chunk of metallic, otherwise it will be a bit overwhelming and boring. So the tubing here would need to be probably black and then have a gray highlight. These rings can be gold. These buckles can be gold. And on the front, I would like the revolving part to be gold and the rest to be white metal. Maybe the cocking mechanism could be gold too. Although it's too intricate, so I'll probably just keep it. And the rest would be just... the rims will be white metallics and so on. The grenade pins, probably gray as well. And this, if I could ever get a paintbrush in there, should probably be gold too. Right, well. Okay, yellow metallic, so copper, I guess. Yeah, copper. Although again, would you believe me if a gold tooth? Oh, come on. Don't do this, because look at the miniature is sculpted so you can very well see the grin. And it is technically possible to get a gold tooth in, but I think that'll be a bit too insane to do. Yeah, look, that makes lovely. Nice. Unexpected. Okay, let's see how long before I start cursing GW Citadel Metallics. I'm gonna go ahead and say 3 reloads of the brush. Sorry if you can't quite see this, but is in a very awkward place. Yeah, golden eye is an option. I think that there was one model with a raised eyebrow. Might do that. Okay. Yeah, I think one of the Lords of Terra had a gold eye. Not really sure. One of the old farts. Big farts, yeah. Sure, why not? Why not? So this is a fairly tedious part. Painting rims of things. And this brings back not so fond memories of painting the Dark Elves. Because they had a bunch of this. And I already am spilling out here and there. I hope that... So the metallics I will wash for sure. And I hope that it'll be enough to cover up some of the mistakes I'm going to make and am currently making. Yeah, but yeah, the models, but they're referring to the GW models, not the Grebo ones. Yeah. You just go over with the paint that, for instance, here, if you see, I did spill out a little bit in the red. I'm just gonna go back with the red and color over it. It's a pain, but it's nothing. Um, it's nothing final. Sure, yeah. These are water-based acrylics, so they're not as strong as you would think. Yeah, as you can see, these cover for one go, so this is why I am doing all of the base colors first, because they tend to be easier to fix, because they cover up better. So before going into highlighting and layering and all sorts of stuff. So this is the point where I just want to get a general view of what the model will look like with the general colors in place. And then I can start playing. Then I can make the corrections after I've laid down all of the colors. And then go into the highlighting stage and the shading stage and all those stages. Yeah, which, by the way, so far have failed fairly epically, as in it is a much smarter, although a bit longer taking to fix things the second you notice them. Because otherwise you run the risk to miss them when you go over for the quality check inspection. And I've done so on many occasions. So when you go back to do the layerings and the stuffs, it's then where you actually see what happened. And you're like, God damn it. That being said, the metallics are holding out pretty well today. I have not felt the need to rage at them yet. So yeah, a lot of people did complain about the Citadel Dark Elves. Because not only are they extremely multi-part models for the scale that they are at, but also they are very awkward to put together. So the sequence of placing some of the things isn't particularly obvious, and also you have a ton of parts. How the hell did that happen? Okay, well. And to top it all off, I personally do not like the sculpts of the GW Dark Elves. Although that's of course just personal. Damn it. Wow, okay. Yeah. Well, there are competitions. There are painting competitions. Sometimes they are separate. So at the bigger conventions and so on, you would have the opportunity to paint something. So they are, of course, in categories. Yeah, the general gist from decades ago is the 3 colors rule, which is you need to have at least 3 colors on a miniature, so you can play in their tournaments. But I don't think that I'm not really sure if that applies still. There's also nowadays there is a thing to be said about tints and shades. So if you were to paint your models in 10 shades of green or something, do you count that as 10 colors or? Oh, really? So it does still apply. Well, that's nice. But yeah, there are also separate competitions for single models or armies or whatnot. Also, most events and tournaments do have a sort of hidden ongoing, what would you call it, competition? Where you would register and there would be judges that would come to your table in between the games and look at your army, inspect it, write down notes, and so on. Klopalmer, I think he got second place at the World Cup for his Necro team. Was it second place? But these are completely optional. First 5, well, still considering amongst 1400 people, that is quite an achievement. It is glamorous, dude, come on. Don't be modest now. So what do we get here? Oh, there really is a requirement. But keep in mind again that these are particularly Games Workshop sanctioned tournaments, so the middle is the minimum. Right. Well, yeah, just not splattered a color of paint, right. Primed and washed wouldn't meet the minimum. Okay. So a wash over primer doesn't count. Okay. Nice. I really wasn't aware that this is still a cat. Right. Cool. Am I done with the legs? God, I've got so much to fix after this. Right. Yeah, I saw it was from 2019, so last year. The article was from 2019. Well, the Spiky Bits post, not not the posting of the requirements. Also, something to keep in mind is that most people would paint miniatures, or at least have painted miniatures, as in commission painters to paint them and so on. However, in Games Workshop's case, in 40K, we're talking about very large numbers of models per army, and this is why there is more of a chance for someone to go with an unpainted army. In, let's say, the Blood Bowl tournament that we went to, you're playing it with teams with, what, 12, 13 models max? And it's much more likely that you would either take the time to paint them or pay someone to do it for you, or have someone do it for you. So it depends on the game. The dude that I'm painting for Necromunda, so Necromunda is also a skirmish game with a lower number of models. Again, about 12-ish, I think. But Claw Bomber could correct me, because don't tell anyone, but I'm not very much knowledgeable in terms of the game rules for Necromunda. I skimmed over the guide, but I haven't gotten into it. Yeah, so currently I have only 6 built, and I'm just gonna overload them with stuff if it comes to the point where we would actually play it. But I do have material for other models, so to speak. Oh, by the way, Klopalmer, did you check out Minix videos for 3D printers? That looked quite interesting. The level of detail that came out is actually pretty decent. Yeah, he actually bought a 3D printer and started to make a few miniatures. And yeah, they look pretty good. Also making a lot of terrain. A lot, well, he made some terrain. Ah, Redeemer. Standards must be maintained. Okay. Uh, I love this character, I really do. the Redeemer. So I don't know what's wrong with this camera for real. But I guess I'll never figure it out, and I should just be glad that it's not stuttering. I don't know if I've mentioned this, I am also thinking about getting a decent mic instead of using the soapbox built in the camera. But I run the issue with where the hell do I put this mic when I'm painting, which is kind of keeping me at bay. Thank you, but I really don't think so. I mean, it's tolerable, which is why I'm still keeping it. Either the Snowball or the Blue Yeti, yeah. But the thing is, I either need another arm, which will have to come from this side, meaning that you'll see another arm here coming in, and you won't at all get to see my face. Or I place it in front of me, in which case you won't see the miniature. So for gaming it's easy because you just place it in front of you and there's no problem, but for painting it's a bit of a different case. Yeah, it's just I do hear some rather painful effects on it, but yeah, it's decent. Let's just say it works for now. I get a larger following and requirements raise up, I might think about it again, but just something that is churning in my head every now and again. Also, let me know about the music volume, because I've been noticing that recently you can barely hear it. So I did crank it up a little bit. If it's too loud, let me know and I'll turn it back down. Same for the game audio. For Fallout. The first recording, I barely could hear any of the effects and music or speech. Okay. Right, so onward. Another beautifully hidden rim. I'm not gonna go too crazy here, just try and catch the bare necessities. Might need to go back with the flesh, because I see here that there is a separation between the armor plates. Probably. Yeah, you can barely see it, just above the... Oh yeah, I think so. I did not take this into account. Yeah, nice. Oh, you know. I'm not strongly against it, but as you can see... I'm not really part of it either. It's a weird time. Weird times. Weird people. Just all around weirdness. Shit. And just yesterday I was getting fairly confident with my brushwork. And here I'm just, god damn it. Slapping it all over. This will take a while to fix. Oh well. What are you gonna do? At least these big splotches of paint are easy to see, so I won't miss them when I go back to do the corrections. Hopefully. I was kinda hoping that I wouldn't need to do that, but... metallics do tend to do that. They're usually just the last details and bits standing out. And I have also been thinking about doing them first, as Have No Mouth suggested. Maybe I'll try this on the next model. So that I would only need to fix the metallics, which are usually much smaller details than the whole. And I am using the colors as they are, so I'm not mixing too much. Right now the only real issue with the corrections is that every color on this mini is a mix color. It's not straight out of the pot. As in the color not out of the pot, they are all thinned of course. But... so that's gonna be a pain, but bleh. To paint the metallics first, and then go over with the other colors. Instead of what I'm always doing, which is paint all of the non-metallics, then I go over with the true metallics, spill paint over everywhere, and then having to bother with correcting a bunch of colors instead of like 2. That might be a thing. Because you're like, they're just small details, I'll just paint them quick and easy, I can leave them for last, and well, this is what happens. Another reasonable solution would be to just improve my brushwork and not have to do these things at all, but whatever. Also on future dudes. Yeah, nah, for sure. Why improve skills when you can just go over your shit a million times? I agree. So a thing that really got me going from the streams that I've been watching recently, and to demystify what they are, it's the yes, I did so for the human team. That was the first team I painted, and that's how I approached it. And the result was that for a while I didn't want to either see or touch a paintbrush for about a week or 2, because it burns me out very quickly. So after multiple experiments, so to speak, I brought it down that I can actually work on 2 models at a time, like this. So I can go a single stage for 2 models, go back, do the next batch, and so on. The way I did it for the Norse team. What's this? Yeah, the universe is conspiring. Actually, let me show this. Thanks, that's a good one. Nice one. Topical. Okay. Yeah, so batch painting would work if I didn't put so much thought into what I'm doing. It requires me to become a bit more mechanized in my painting in general, so that my brain doesn't melt down when I do it for a long time. Also, in this case, for the Goliaths, there wouldn't be too many stages that I can replicate for all of them, aside from painting the armor plates, the red ones, which would appear more rusty to you. So the rust colored things will be the only things that will that will be common amongst them. So in this case, for sure, it wouldn't work, but for others. Also, something that you do tend to miss out when batch painting, if you remember again with the Norse dudes, when you noted about the Ulfwerner's crystals on their arms, that I could actually do them in different colors. This is the type of detailing, just little pieces here and there to separate your models that you just miss out on them because you're focused on just do this, do this, do this, do this. Oh yeah, well, ugh. I just put too much. Because the next Mohawk won't be orange, it'll be a different color. So again, I really don't have anything on any model to just put it on. But yeah, I just put too much is all. Usually I put too little, this time I put too much. You know what would help? Dropper bottles. Makes it so much easier to gauge the amount of paint that you put down on the table, on the palette. And you know what has dropper bottles? Not Citadel. It does sound like I'm really shitting on these paints, and I'm really not right to do so. It's just that they are... Every paint in their range has a purpose, as in they are strictly dedicated to do a particular thing. Like either base coat or layer or wash or... And if you kind of like the color of the layer, it is much harder to apply it as a, let's say, a base coat, because you need to apply it a billion times to get good coverage. But they do so with the purpose that it'll show some through. And also they are derivative one from each other, which is something I discovered haphazardly. For instance, let me just show you the base color of yellow, which is Hourland Sunset, combined with the base brown, which is Mornfang Brown, actually gives you Bugman's Glow 1-to-1. I tried it. It is the exact same color, meaning that overall you don't have as much color variation as you may want to have if you want to experiment and shit. So they are very good in terms of starter paints. If you want to follow paint by numbers guide, they are great. But if you want to go beyond that, they kind of stop you. Apart from that, again, for what they are meant to do, they're doing great. And I really don't have the skill, knowledge, or vision to be significantly hampered by it. Meaning that I am a low-level painter, and so they do come in handy in what they do. Yeah, exactly. Well, not exactly joking, because they do say that you should use contrast straight out of the pot, so they should be they're considered to be pre-thinned and so on. So even that is something you don't need to do. which is kind of cool. I ain't hating. But I do kinda... Oh, for sure. No one's denying that. I'm just the kind of person that likes to try to use the tools that are meant for the advanced, so that when I actually learn how to do it, I can take full advantage of it. So my issues are more theoretical than they are practical, so because I'm not at that stage yet. Sorry about that. Yeah, so all of this will just be gray, silvery metal, and if something pops out as a blatantly different thing, I might color it as yellow. Yeah, I haven't tried them myself, but Clawpalmer has been doing quite a few experiments with them, and he's done some really nice things. Like the thing where I'm always remembering the way he undercoated the metallics, highlighted the metallics, and then went with the contrast over it, and it's really a good effect. But you can also use them as base coat and first couple of shades and highlights. Small fleshy, okay. Yeah, I seem to remember someone also saying that flat surfaces don't work too well, because you can't get the color range that it provides when it hits a crevice or a nook or a cranny. Any differences in detail. Yeah, not even so much of a perspective, more along the lines of the right tool for the right job, I'd say. You just need to know what to use in what circumstances. I do like how the hair turned out. if nothing else. I'm starting to over-thin the metallics, and this is going to bite me in the ass very soon. On a side note, the small change on my armrest turns out is quite effective. That would be it, although lazy is not quite the word. Again, these are mostly paints made to paint big armies. And these are sort of shortcuts, so you don't have to spend decades painting them. As are the shades. Also, there are dry compounds that are supposed to be made for dry brushing. Although I haven't seen anyone ever use any of those. Because, I don't know, I don't think that they need to exist. Yeah, contrast, exactly. Closest thing to it. Okay. So a while ago, I was about to say the new thing that I wanted to try out, inspired by Slow Fuse. So I think the channel is now Creature Caster. I'm following him regularly whenever I'm in the mood for painting. I really like the things that he shows, although they are super advanced in some ways. They're also very interesting to look at and give good ideas, at least partially, for things that elements of what I see I can apply. And the latest thing that got me inspired was underpainting. Especially for flesh colors. So I will be trying this out on one of the future Goliaths. God damn it. Apparently not this one, because he's already base coated. I will be glazing in some additional thingies in it. The
crevices and whatnot. It's getting ridiculous. Much paint. Fix. Oh well. It's a trial and error process. And maybe someday I'll improve on that flank. I was hoping to get all the metallics done today, and I might still make it, but it'll be a tight squeeze. Here again I missed the paint. Wow. The more I paint, the more issues I find. Great. Great. Oops. So yeah, I'll have to come back here. Which models did you have for the slab? Was it the cats? Ah, yeah, because it pulls a little bit more like a shade, so it will create these sort of damp feelings, damp places. Also, you could just top coat them with a gloss varnish at the end, or bits and pieces to be gloss varnished to give you that additional shiny wetness look. Ah, yeah. We were looking at them back in the day. Nice. Oh, cool. Do you plan on playing Lizardman anytime soon? In case someone joins while I'm doing nothing. Cool. You mean in Blood Bowl 2? In CCL?
Or is this directed in real life? Yeah, sorry about that. For some reason, even when I do get the urge to play, I need to be poked a little bit. This is weird. I don't quite understand it, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know what you mean. But I think that just continuing to poke around will yield results. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I don't think that I never considered it weird or anything. I think you should. And for anyone else, actually, if any one of us wants to play a game, we should always make this known. I've been watching that Augie constantly does that for Infinity in their group, at least once a week. Sometimes it works, sometimes not, but I think this is the proper way to do it. But I do get what you mean, and I am sorry about that. For what it's worth. What did I get? Paint so deep in the ferrule. Jeez. I have to wash this brush afterwards. Hmm. Oh, for the semifinals? Ah, for a team. And what did you come up with? What decision did you reach?
Because they're very different teams, as we know. Oh, in that from that regard, okay. Yeah, he plays orcs very well, I gotta say. And it is a season 2 team, so a 2-season team. He has lost some players, so he's not as scary. Like, I seem to remember him having quite a bit of tackle, but now that I look at his list, he didn't have any tackle. So things have apparently happened. Yeah, it is kind of like that. But again, with the lack of tackle, if you... I haven't checked your team, haven't seen if you have gotten a lot of dodge in your development. Never underestimate the gobos. Never. But yeah, I also remember my first, so last season's game against Richard, where I was still building up the Dark Elves. It was gross. I made many mistakes, but he took quite a good advantage of them. And at the end of the game, it was just my entire team surrounded in a big old clustercluck of dudes. And I was just getting pounded. Yeah. Did work out better this time around, but my games have been pretty dicey lately. I don't know when Nuffle's winds will change. But for the last few games, it's been going pretty well my way. And that's actually an understatement. I think you can win. Oh, okay. So you're talking about the... Yeah. It'll be interesting, but we'll have to see when the games are going to be played, considering the current social limitations. Although the idea with Fumble was great, I wouldn't have thought about it. Because Fumble, for some reason, just doesn't resonate in my mind. Yeah, I know, right? I just went very conservative at the end. I don't know if it's tryharding or just being lazy to think of cool things. One of the two, but can't say which one. I did get an assassin in though, so that's a thing. If you count that as crazy-ish. Yeah, babe. I developed them fairly. Oh, we'll see. I don't think a single stab worked against the Gubbos, so... But it's still a fun piece. See if I can get any mileage out of it. If I get to the semis. Okay, well, I think only the gun remains. Well, may or may not. So the assassin is one of those where it either works or it completely flat out fails. Did you say what you were planning to play next season? Oh, cool. So we will get to have a 2-season team. That's cool. At least one. Yeah, well, knock on wood, that won't happen, but... I haven't checked it out again, as I mentioned earlier. Is there anyone that's developed in an interesting way? Yeah, Chaos Pact is fun. If any of your players have developed in an interesting way, because I haven't checked your team out. Okay. Yeah. The movement one, I think, or was it agility? Nice. So. Sadly, I think I will again be playing with one of the planar teams. Ah, yeah. Okay. Anything else that needs to be all silvery? Probably here. I don't know. Can't understand this bit here. Because these are straps for the greaves, for the bracers, that's obvious. But there is an additional thing here underneath. It's like it's probably a leather, but if it was leather then he should have a glove on his hand, and it's just up to the wrist, so I don't know if that should be. Alrighty, Claw Bomber. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I don't know if I'll make it for if you're asking me, but otherwise, yeah. Oh, cool. Well, as soon as I think team to play for the World Cup, for the Euro, I will be more than glad to start playing. It'll probably be Bretonians, but and with that, I think I'm done with the silvers. Okay, and I think with the stream as well. Oh. I was hoping to get more done, but as usual, my lightning painting skills have failed me. Good night, yo. Thanks again for joining, for sticking around, and hopefully till next time. And for everyone else watching the VODs or the uploads on YouTube, thank you for watching. Keep doing what you do,
keep doing what you love, loving what you do. Until next time, I've been Bachacolio, signing out. Bye guys!